Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Anda sedang menonton Agenda Awani, dan di Agenda Awani kita sentiasa memfokuskan kepada isu kelestarian. Tetapi kadang-kadang ia kedengaran begitu besar dan begitu jauh daripada kita. Namun jika kita semua berfikir sekarang, sudah pun ada yang beli tiket dan tempah tiket untuk balik ke kampung, sedang menghantar kereta ke mekanik untuk memeriksa enjin dan sebagainya. Di kampunglah di mana kita merasakan hidup begitu lestari berbanding dengan kota yang penuh dengan bangunan, kaca dan sebagainya. Dan itu yang kita nak bincangkan hari ini. Bagaimana kita boleh terus menuju ke depan dengan penuh menjana kemakmuran tapi masih lagi lestari dengan flora dan fauna. Saya ingin memfokuskan dan bermula di perbincangan malam ini dengan satu negeri iaitu Sabah. Kerana di Sabah lah terletak pelbagai flora dan fauna yang cukup hebat. Kita tahu tentang Gunung Kinabalu, kita tahu tentang Lembah Danum ataupun Danum Valley, dan di lembah Sungai Kinabatangan. Satu-satunya kawasan ekosistem semula jadi di dunia yang mempunyai 3 spesies yang semakin diancam kepupusan hanya dalam satu kawasan, iaitu monyet bangkatan ataupun proboscis monkey, pygmy elephant, gajah pygmy dan juga orangutan. Dan dalam konteks itu, jika anda Google baru-baru ini, lebih kurang 2-3 minggu lalu, sebuah universiti terkemuka dunia yang terletak di Eropah, dalam hasil kajian mereka mendapati bahawa pokok tertinggi di dunia berada di Sabah. Dan ini kerana mereka melakukan kajian. Baru-baru ini saya bersama dengan kumpulan negara pergi ke GSEC. Kita ada satu kelompok pemikir antarabangsa yang setiap setahun sekali sekurang-kurangnya akan bertemu, dan kali ini mereka bertemu di London dan ada lawatan ke Imperial College. Imperial College di London, universiti yang terletak dalam senarai 5 teratas dunia itu, juga ada kajian di hutan di Sabah, dan mereka memulakan persembahan PowerPoint mereka dengan bunyi riang serangga yang ada di Sabah. Jadi bagaimana kita nak memastikan bahawa ini terus kekal? Usaha untuk tenaga dan sumber tenaga boleh diperbaharui antara satu langkah signifikan dalam perkara itu. Dan anda mungkin masih lagi mengenali beliau sebagai seorang artis selebriti terkenal, tapi bagi saya beliau kini adalah usahawan selebriti berjaya dalam bidang tenaga sumber dan sumber tenaga boleh diperbaharui. Datuk Irwan Shah Abdullah ataupun DJDF, terima kasih sekali lagi di Agenda Awani. And tonight this episode brought along a very great friend, Arman Masumi. He's the pengarah urusan lah, orang-orang yang hebat ni. A very important person in Renewables Plus Sdn Bhd. Datuk is executive chairman, and I would like to go straight to, because your presence locally is hugely in Sabah. So I've just painted the picture of the fight that we have to remember. Anything that we do, investment, development, even opening up new areas for residential purposes, we've got to remember that we only have one world, and we only have one flora and fauna ecosystem.
Exactly.
More and more they are being threatened. So I've just made the contention on air to the guests, to the public, that if we can be successful in renewable energy, there is a huge step going forward.
Right.
But the skeptics out there in our own country will say, yeah, but where are we in renewable energy? I know we've discussed it a bit before, but if you can link that picture globally and where we are at the forefront of that through what you are doing.
Okay, the thing is, Kamarul, everybody is talking about renewable energies. Sometimes, you know, we have been talking about it in the Copenhagen Accord. We talked about Kyoto Treaty, then lately the Paris Summit and all that. But the thing is, what we have been talking about, and we mentioned so many times that we're going to reduce the carbon print so that we can all go towards the renewable energy. But the tariffs in our country, I think everybody knows, somehow or other, they're not so competitive. So many people choose to go out of the country. Now, Arman and I, Arman is the authority. Arman started with the plasma, very high-tech technology, where it was, he felt that. Now, Arman is not new to Malaysia. Arman has been here for the last 16, 17 years, maybe 18 years, married somebody local, and studied in the United States. And the thing is, he has been trying to get this. Now, gasification is not new. Gasification is a very old technology. But with Arman's input and all that, with his partners from some 2 boys from Massachusetts University, MIT, and they came up with this technology where they thought that this is a new generation of gasification, where everything from rice husk to chicken manure to EFB and what else?
Any
sawdust,
biological mass material.
anything organic, plant-wise, we can create renewable energy. So, and I am very, very passionate, Kamal. I'm so passionate about environment, and I have been doing environment business for a long time, maybe 6-7 years in Sabah, where I clean up diesel engines so that we reduce carbon, clean up all this detoxification of diesel engines. That's what my product is all about. Then, of course, I joined hands with Arman, who was somebody who I was looking for to do something in a bigger way, to contribute to this. Mother Earth is actually crying.
Yes.
You know, I have products, I have raw material for you to create energy so that you reduce carbon. We are talking about reduction of carbon so many times, but nothing concrete was done. Sad to say, then we started implementing projects overseas. We tendered in Thailand, we tendered in Turkey, and we won big projects. But locally, yes, we have started off with one in Sabah, which is going to be commissioned anytime now. But we are still, as I said, slow. Hopefully, now with the awareness created by yourselves, all the time I see you always talking about renewable energy, and hopefully the tariffs go up slightly.
That's why I want to let Arman now.
Yes, he can.
Okay, a lot of people, when they don't know anything now, will Google. So I want to give them the Wikipedia definition of gasification. Gasification is a process that converts organic or fossil fuel-based carbonaceous materials into carbon monoxide, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide. This is achieved by reacting the material at high temperatures, more than 700 degrees Celsius, without combustion, with a controlled amount of oxygen and or steam. So what have you and your team innovated that will bring this better, and that we, all of us in Malaysia, should be knocking on the door of our Member of Parliament to say that, hey, we want this in our area, because I want green jobs for the future, and I want to reduce GHG.
That's right. Well, the definition of gasification, which you have presented, is actually quite accurate. That's exactly what the process is. It is describing the process of gasification, which is really what happens in what would be a reactor. Gasification, basically what it means that we are converting a solid fuel into a gaseous fuel. So you have a solid matter. To us, your empty fruit bunch or a rice husk or a wood waste and so on, those are fuel in a solid form. So a gasification process, which is recovers the energy from the solid matter into gas, is used, and then the gas is used to run gas engines and gas turbines and so on. So as a result, you are able to use the fuel in a way, in a fashion that could not be used originally because it was in a solid form. So what we have done, we have been able to put projects together, come up with designs that have been built and operate in a financially viable manner. You see, technologies exist for so many different things, but is it financially viable?
Hold that thought. Because in Malaysia, the moment you say money and finance, you know, figures are going up there. So we go for the first break, but once we are back, I want to go into that financial and money side of things, because usually people say that, yeah, we have palm oil, but if you use palm oil to make it biofuel, then we're going to increase the price of palm oil, and you know, even everybody that cooks in Malaysia will say, hey, that's going to increase the cost of living for food. So now you're telling me that you can convert almost anything that is organic into this with a process that is financially sound to bring and generate returns without polluting the environment.
Absolutely.
So let's discuss that after the short break. You are still watching a very special session of Agenda Awani because we're talking about Mother Earth, we're talking about what we can do, macam mana nak menyelamatkan ekosistem kita dan tapi masih meneruskan pembangunan. Sebab tu saya tadi berjenaka dengan Datuk Ridwan Shah supaya dia kembali menyanyikan lagu-lagu Hari Raya yang sekarang kita sudah dengar, tapi masukkan nilai-nilai tenaga dan sumber tenaga boleh diperbaharui. Tapi itu nanti kita bincang kemudian. Bagaimana nak pastikan, how do we ensure that people don't see money as a block or as a gap to really adopt technology that can really make humankind and Mother Nature sustainable. I keep hearing this, good idea, it's going to take a lot of money, it won't be feasible. So how did you, maybe I go to you, Dato', and then Arman can follow up. How did you make it financially viable, one? Second, how do you make it continuously viable? Because sometimes starting it is one thing, but the moment other players see it and they start doing it, and then the resources become more and more expensive because you rely on a lot of materials to get into the production process.
Okay, first of all the raw materials, just like EFB, empty fruit bunches, let me take an example.
Yeah.
They are just either they throw it away, burn it, which causes pollution, or they go into compost. Compost has not been that successful in our country. Somehow or other, there's so much of pollution still.
Yes.
There's a lot of smell and a lot of things that really creates a lot of should I say affects the environment and our of course the ecosystem. And then they pour it into the sea. Again, it's polluting. Our fish are dying. The corals are dying. But when you use these empty fruit bunches, which is free.
Okay.
Even they have to pay people to create, logistics and all that costs you money. Again, you lose money. So when you do this, like what Mr. Arman had just said, when you gasify it, you get synthetic gas, blah, blah. And again, when you do this in a very professional, with technologies today, like we say gasification, you actually create energy out of nothing. Out of something which is you're going to throw money or you use
From
money
waste to
usefulness. It's not again. It is something which is again people have to just listen to people who know this stuff. Now, when you create energy out of that, you're selling. Okay, either you sell or you run a diesel engine. Now, a diesel engine is run either by diesel or an engine is run by from the grid, current from the grid, electricity from the grid. Now we replace diesel. Now the diesel cost in the rural areas is much costlier.
Okay.
In the rural areas of Sarawak, we just signed a contract with Sarawak Energy now. We'll come back to that. Where I think the cost of diesel per liter is 6 ringgit.
Okay.
Because it's very far
Transport
rural areas, transport and all that. Now, here we are saving you money. We are creating energy for you to run your diesel engine, or if you have more energy, you can sell it to the grid if the price is right. And again, the byproduct, Kamarul, the biochar, that has got value.
Okay.
A minimum value of biochar of wood chips is about $500 per ton, and biochar is fertilizer.
Okay.
The topsoil is all depleted of nutrients. All the topsoil is gone. That biochar can be used as a fertilizer to put back all the nutrients on the topsoil.
What is the minimum amount that we're looking at for a plant to exist? Because, if we talk about more and more now, we even have agencies looking into it now more rigorously about having nuclear power in this country. But before we go there, we should, I think, exhaust all these other considerations first.
Sure.
And but all of us know that that's a very high technology that needs a lot of concentration of resources.
Sure.
For your plant, what are we looking at here? Does it need billions for just one plant? Or, because if I look at the Scandinavian countries, they don't go for mass grid. Now more and more they are decentralizing it so that the communities work and fit energy generation and utilization within their area, because that is more efficient, right? So if you can benchmark that to what you're doing.
We can do that. I think Arman will answer that question. You know why? We are not going to do one big 50 megawatt gasification plant. we are doing in small stages where every community, everybody.
And it's still feasible
It's
financially.
feasible. It's feasible.
Okay.
It's very feasible.
Okay, Ahmad.
Well, I think you have touched on very sensitive areas where in that they are very important.
Yes.
I mean, those are very critical areas of this system or the technology or even energy generation. You know, energy has become a necessity of life. You know, if you're in rural areas or you're, you know, we take electricity for granted, you just switch it on and electricity is
It comes
there.
second only after broadband. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, that's right. And in rural areas, it has become, I mean, the importance has been understood, and as a result, there's power generation in rural areas, but it's at a very high cost because of the location
Yes.
and grid not being available.
Logistics, yeah.
And as you have mentioned, the trend today, even in developed world, is decentralized power. Okay, so, but we are living in a part of the world that there is so much sunshine, so much rain, everything grows.
Yes.
That's all fuel. Okay, now and you know, not using them is
Sacrilege to you. Okay, I have to go for the last break. But once we are back, never enough time with great people. I want to come at it from another way now. Because yes, the business part, people can Google Renewables Plus, you have FB, you are on the World Wide Web. I want to look at the passion. And Datuk, we all know the passion. And now Arman will tell us where he comes from, why is it that he decided to believe and trust Datuk and start maybe to you nowhere was Malaysia before. And of course, Masumi is not an indigenous name to Southeast Asia. We'll get the background, we'll get the MIT part, and maybe we can inspire the next batch of innovators, researchers, all the people who just want to make change for the better sustainably in their backyard, at their own village, for example, because this is the time of the year where the group of students are thinking of where next to go after high school. So I'm going to beg for them to also look at this area. Okay.
Ample opportunity.
Datuk has said it. You will see it after the short break. Thank you so much for still watching Agenda Awani. And I remember when I was moderating a discussion with the Gen Y top leaders of the world at the World Islamic Economic Forum. 4 panelists, and they were all young people, entrepreneurs, technopreneurs, or even innovators. And I met one guy. Of course, he's a Muslim from North Africa, and he's now making it big in renewable energy in Belgium. And he started that, and now he's going around the world. And now that I've met you, what is it about Masumi's sounding names that so, you know, you are the second very important person I've met personally on subjects like this. So if you can give us your background and how you've gone around the world, even to the top research centers of the world, like MIT, just to look at the feasibility of doing this. And I think, let's tell the people out there that, hey, the science is proven, we need to put it into application.
That's right. Well, I'm actually originally, I'm from Iran. I was born in Iran. I was in Iran until I was 15 years old. Then in 1978, I went to the US for studies, high school and then university. And over the years, I worked in the energy sector. I was working with a group that we were developing projects relating to plasma gasification, which is a different area of work altogether. And when I was looking at projects in Asia, I was overseeing projects in Southeast Asia, and I used to travel to this part of the world a lot. I realized that perhaps it would make sense to put more focus on biomass. You're looking at the raw material that is a lot more available in abundance. So in other words, it's a fuel that is not being utilized. And it's a shame to see all these being burnt and open burning or dumping and so on. And instead, these countries are all importing fuel, you know, for all of that. So
okay, just to cut you there, the point I want to make is, it needs always somebody from the outside coming here, looking at what we're wasting and rotting away, and seeing the potential to not only make money, but to save the world.
But yet, Kamarul, it did not start here. He went away to Thailand.
Continue that, sorry.
Anyways, I mean, I can talk to you till tomorrow morning if you don't stop me. But,
Go ahead,
I
go
will give you a brief or a quick snapshot of what we have done. So anyhow, I developed a system. Basically, we took a technology that I'm very familiar with. I've been doing it today. Now it's a little over 22 years of doing gasification work. But just like a car, there may be somebody says BMW is good or Mercedes is good or Toyota is good. But so gasification also is available from different sources. But what it takes is to package it. You can think of an engine of a car. That's a gasification system. But then there's a whole bunch of other things that goes with the system, and that is where we are specialized in. So today we are the only gasification system integrator and the only EPC contractor in Southeast Asia specializing in gasification system. So, and what we have done, we have developed the system to be highly efficient so that it meets the local financial aspirations. As we all know, communities, especially in this part of the world, although they care a lot about the environment, at the end of the day, it must make financial sense. So today, what we have achieved, and we have built plants that are currently operating, these are plants that are generating power using renewable fuel or biomass at lower cost than fossil fuel. And this is done, it's almost like you can now buy organic vegetable for lower price than regular vegetable. And that is a very important achievement.
Right now, I'll come back if we have time to the input. The output is into the grid. Can one day we see it as, if I'm going to drive an electric car, and more people are looking at Tesla and stuff like that, can I just go to anywhere and plug in?
Absolutely.
Because if we make it local.
True. Absolutely. I mean, today, when you talk about decentralized power, that is the whole idea. I mean, the project that we are doing in Sabah today is a project, because power price in Malaysia is low. So in this particular project, we are doing a fossil fuel substitution. We are actually directly substituting diesel.
So I'm going to let you be the influencer. Look into that camera and tell the young people out there who's choosing their, areas of specialization to go into, why they should go into this. What kind of science do they need to study?
Well, when you talk about environmental management, it can be a whole vast of areas. I think what we are suggesting for individuals to work on is on the technical aspects, because there's a huge area of work that is still...
Biotechnology?
Biotechnology is one, but I think for us, we are looking at mechanical engineering and chemical engineering. These are areas, because the system, although we brag about having a very highly efficient system and clean system, but there is still a lot of room to improve.
Thank you so much. I don't have time with great people always. I wanted to ask Datuk, why is it that he likes Sabah so much, but didn't go to my homestead of Jelapang Padi and take care of the waste? Datuk, you have to come back again. We asked you also about singing, nyanyi lagu Hari Raya. I've got a single lady, driving the production control room, so she said she's a fan. She wants you to sing Hari Raya. But that's for another day. I'll write the lyric. Thank you so much for watching. You can go and Google Renewable Plus. They are on Facebook and also World Wide Web. Terima kasih banyak atas kepandangan anda sendiri kepada pelbagai platform yang Astro Awani ada, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, dan muat turun aplikasi mudah alih iOS dan Android supaya anda boleh menonton dan juga memberikan sumbangan dalam pemikiran anda kepada kami terus di Gadget Mudah Alih Kegemaran anda. Sekian, selamat malam. Terima kasih. Jumpa lagi. Thank you so much.